Happy Sunday, everybody. It is Sunday afternoon. Welcome to your Sunday Brownstone Brief. I'm Paulette, and let's go ahead and get started with a couple of things that you absolutely need to know about that's happening today. And then I'll come back a little bit later. We're going to be talking all about what's happening with the Epstein files, Doge, and things that are happening here in the Brownstone that you should know about. A couple things. Number one, U.S. launches civility campaign for air travel. Have you all heard about this? Well, we're going to also be digging into that as well. But for now, here's what you need to know. A new federal government campaign urges passengers to improve their behavior during air travel. It aims to better the travel experience and ensure safety, the Department of Transportation said, and comes amid an uptick in disruptive incidents, which doubled from 2019 to 2024. Now, about 6 million Americans have expected to travel by plane over the Thanksgiving holiday and into the regular holidays as well. They're experiencing or expecting an uptick up to 2% from a year earlier. So, guys, they're even talking about what you should wear. But we'll be talking about that a little bit later. The remedies based on what's happening is also impacting ad tech. So let's talk about that. So, Google's ad tech in the balance as judge weighs different ideas and ways that they can address it. So, there are phases of the U.S. government's antitrust trial against Google, and that's actually wrapping up with closing arguments presented to Judge Leonie Brikema on Friday of this week. A ruling is expected next year, actually. The Department of Justice is advocating for a forced sale of Google's ad exchange to combat its monopoly, while Google contends that breaking up its business would be technically challenging and harmful to users. Now, earlier this year, Google managed to avoid the forced sale of its Chrome browser as a remedy for its search monopoly. How many of you guys actually use Chrome in your daily walk and everything that you do with your business, or even when you're checking emails or whatever? Do you choose one over the other? Now, the film industry is actually witnessing a shift as kids become the primary audience for some of Hollywood's biggest releases. So for decades, the most popular and successful movies were all rated PG. So now PG-rated films, including Zootopia 2 and Wicked for Good, are expected to be among the year's top earners. Notably, their success hinges on families going together, as their intended audience are too young to attend alone. Wicked for Good has already broken records in review earnings. And some people are saying that it's giving Wizard of Oz vibes. So we definitely want you guys to go ahead and check that out. Seems like it's a pretty good movie. I've heard some pros and some cons. Now, let's talk about AI bots shaking up the hiring process. Now, the rise of artificial intelligence in recruitment is actually causing headaches for both job seekers and employers, according to Fortune reports. And you don't even have to go that far, honey. I'm one of those folks who literally, here's my truth, have given up looking for a job because AI has stopped my resume from actually being seen by human eyeballs. And so we focus further for the past several years into the business. Because you know how you balance your business with your job, right? And I finally just said, you know what, enough's enough. So when I was laid off, I made a decision to stop looking because nobody was looking for me because it was all AI generated. So job candidates are having to wade through harsher AI screenings and fake job postings, while recruiters are juggling larger applications volumes driven by AI assisted tools. So a new report actually shows that trust in hiring is plummeting drastically, with 42% blaming AI directly for their disillusionment. Now, let's talk about that. You can get so excited about somebody looking at your resume on Indeed or even on LinkedIn or any of these other platforms. Does anybody still use Monster? That sounds like a segment I should do. But anyway, so you get excited about all of that, and then all of a sudden, you realize you're never going to hear from anyone. The recruiter was fake. The text messages were bull, all of that. And you get frustrated. So Fortune actually notes that the rapid adoption of AI tools is actually leading to overwhelm, burnout, and a crisis of human authenticity in hiring. let's talk about this big one that I talked about last week, and that is that nursing and accounting no longer deemed professional by the U.S. So the education department says degrees such as nursing, accounting, architecture, and other disciplines are no longer, quote, professional. And the move is raising alarm among workers in these fields. Nurses, in particular, have been vocal on LinkedIn, and groups such as the American Nurses Association and the American Association of Colleges of Nursing have spoken out against the move. Now, with reason, their concern is that reclassifying the roles will limit access to financial aid and forgiveness programs, which ultimately is the administration's idea anyway, and that is to get you to start using predatory lenders, which I'm sure that they've literally shook hands with to make this happen. Now, final rules will go into effect next year following public comment and agency review. So this is still a preliminary hearing and a preliminary layout of what exactly they want. So this is where we need to absolutely make sure that our voices are heard. To the people that you voted in, you should go. Now, let's talk about new ways that consumers are belt tightening. More consumers are embracing frugality as prices keep rising, including one mom who spoke with the Wall Street Journal. She's actually diluting dish soap and floor cleaner as a means to make her money stretch further. How many of us have actually done that? And in more extreme examples, a Virginia man bought half a cow from a farmer in North Carolina to stock up his deep freezer as the price of packaged beef went skyrocketing. Consumer products giant Procter & Gamble has noticed a consumer pullback, but its CFO expects it to be, quote, temporary. What world does this guy live in? Where do they live? It is obvious that people are pulling back. Now, let's talk about Tyson Foods is actually getting ready to close a major beef plant in Nebraska. Tyson Foods plans to close one of the country's largest beef processing plants. The facility in Lexington, Nebraska, has a workforce of about 3,000 people and a daily capacity of nearly 5,000 cattle. A nationwide cattle shortage pushed up Tyson's costs more than $2 billion, and it lost more than $425 million on beef in its most recent fiscal year. The meat producer is also reducing shifts at its plant in Amarillo, Texas. And the cubicle has a surprising origin. Let's talk about that. Robert Probst, the man who gave the world the cubicle, never intended for his design to become synonymous with corporate monotony and conformity, he told the Wall Street Journal. In fact, Probst's vision was that cubicles, which could originally be arranged in a myriad of different configurations and tailored to workers' needs, would make offices more dynamic and social. I guess he didn't look at his own design. But the companies that purchased his designs used cubicle components to pack more employees into tighter spaces, giving us what Probst, toward the end of his life, derided as monolithic insanity. So let's continue to talk about the insanity that we're seeing happening around the globe. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today for your Sunday Rundown. I'm Paulette, a part of Brownstone Worldwide, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living magazine, which of course you know you can get at Brownstone Worldwide. Don't forget also, you have Brownstone Living daily deals and coupon, the actual website where you can go and get updated deals along with their coupon codes that you can actually use right away. It's updated every single day for you to peruse and look through. Also, make sure that you are hanging out with me later on today because we're going to be talking about Doge. We're going to be talking about what is happening with the Epstein files and how they're starting to blame other folks. And we're also absolutely going to be talking about Candace Owens and the information that we learned about yesterday. So guys, come back. Hang out with me later on today if you've got nothing else to do, and you just might end up with a touch of some lifestyle content that I might pull together, especially now after I saw that video from last night. We absolutely need to do some lifestyle content, and it's called I'm Big and Mama's Bag. All right, you guys, get out there and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you around.